Mark Osiecki's in his third season at Ohio State. And their squad knocked off Ferris State in a hard-fought 3-game series to make to the CCHA championship. It's for the first time since 2005 for the Buckeyes to come down to the Joe. And, Mark, I wanted to get your take, I guess. I've got a couple questions from people that have just wondered about that series against Notre Dame. You had success of winning a tie against them in February, and what allowed you guys to do that, and what kind of games were they, and maybe what you expect this Saturday.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, obviously Brady played very well for us. He allows us to be in each and every game, allows us to play on our toes a bit. But I think those games, one thing that definitely happened for us, we were more healthy as we were banged up most of the year, and we started getting a little bit more chemistry as we got into the beginning part of February. The first night was a good back and forth game, and the next night I thought Notre Dame had the upper hand. The next night, maybe we even stole the point out of that game just by the way Brady played.
Well, I bring up Brady Jelly, your senior goaltender. I know he worked really hard in the off season and prepared to have a big year, and now you get and he did. What does it mean for a young team like yourself, like the Buckeyes, to have a senior goalie like that was so consistent this year?
Well, I mean, like I said, it allows your team to play on your toes. You have so much more confidence when you know there's a goalie back there that's going to make a save when there's a breakdown. And let's face it, hockey's a game of mistakes, and you just have to try to find a way to eliminate the mistakes or try to have a goaltender that can cover up for a lot of mistakes that are made. And Brady allows that to happen. I mean, you look at this kid and his route to where he's at right now, even when he was coming out of high school and playing junior hockey and ends up going to Duluth. And we were fortunate enough that, Steve Rowlick was part of that process. And as Brady left Duluth, probably a shocking situation at that point, but and getting back involved in the recruiting side of it, this kid's matured a ton, and even his choice coming to Ohio State, and then he ends up being behind Cal. Cal just took off, and Cal Heater, that is, and now he's going, God, what kind of choice did I make? All of a sudden I'm going to a school and I'm not even playing. You give this kid so much credit. He's matured so much, the way he approaches the game, doesn't cheat anything, has really transformed his body, and you couldn't be more happy for a guy like that.
Well, and I know with the guys that had came back, your top scorers are sophomores, and I guess I wanted to like the growth of guys like Tanner Fritz, and if you can talk a little bit about a guy like him and maybe Ryan Dzingel, and what they kind of have done in their sophomore year that you saw maybe glimpses of it last year.
Well, I think again maturity. As freshmen, you come in, you're kind of in a situation where you're following a bit, and now they're looked upon as being more leaders, and that's even hard for a sophomore, especially with how young our group is. But these guys have really matured. I think again the way they approached the summer, the way they, I guess Ryan for sure. Ryan put on great strength, and I think that allowed for more confidence to come through with his play with and without the puck. Fritzy, we're still there's 2 years in a row where he came in and maybe started off slower than what he'd like in terms of production. His play was consistent, but in terms of production, that's 2 years in a row where if you look at the first half, you're going, man, he's playing so well, and he's coming up empty-handed, and then 2 years in a row, the second half, he finally finds the back of the net and finds a way to obtain some more points. But these guys have matured greatly. I think you could throw Max McCormick into that mix as well. I mean, those three guys have been tremendous. They're great leaders for our program. They do everything the right way, both on and off the ice.
What about the chemistry between McCormick, Fritz, and Alex Shahira? You're the right wing in that top line. What makes them so effective?
Well, I think they're a little bit different. I think all three of them. Tanner and Max they played together all year. If I look back at all their lineups, they pretty much played together all year. And I think Tanner is a puck-controlling player. He likes to demand the puck. He's great and very strong over top of it. Max is more of a bull with it, and he's going to be kind of a warrior-type kid that's just going to play full out all the time with a very, very gifted shot. I think those guys complement each other that just by the way they play. Max is not he's not like Tanner in terms of his puck possession. He's more get it and rip it and get it to the net and get his body to the net. And then you throw Al in there, and Alex is just a gifted player around the net. He can make nice plays in small areas. He's got a gifted stick, but very different than those guys. He's not going to be a bruiser. Not that he's not afraid, but he's not a bruiser, and in his compete level is high, but he's not going to bowl anyone over.
Well, and I have to ask about Curtis Gettig. I think it was something like 27 games. He had 8 points during the regular season, and he's got 5 in 3 playoff games. And what's happened with him?
Well, we've been, I think Curtis has been. Still, I guess the first thing, he's so coachable, and I think that's allowed him to continue to improve. We've also tweaked where he's at on power play, so he's seeing a little bit different power play position and time, so that's going to help him out and help our team out. But his gift is his skating. He's an NHL skater. He's got great ability to get up in the play and defensively close gaps very well. But the other thing with Curtis, he's been dinged up. He's been in and out of the lineup, and because of injuries, I think it's just been hard for him to get any kind of consistent play going. All of a sudden he gets going, he gets hurt, and then he gets going and he got hurt. So I think just the ability to be in the lineup day in and day out and practice day in and day out has helped his game.
Coach, is your captain, is Ryan Dzingel with you?
He was, yep, there he is.
Coach, I got one last thing for you. What kind of game are you expecting on Saturday? After seeing those guys, a little over a month ago, the one-game semifinal, what are you expecting?
Well, I think Jeff's done a tremendous job with that program, and they're unbelievably well coached. I think they're very, very disciplined with their team systems. I think we're going to have to be extremely patient, be smart, and this, like I said, this team's so gifted talent-wise. You look up and down their roster, skill-wise. You're going to have 4, 5, 6 NHL players coming out of there, and we just have to play smart. We have to play as a group of 20 guys on the ice and play very, very disciplined, and that's within our systems and staying out of the penalty box. I think if we get into trouble and get into penalty situations, I think that's where Notre Dame, certainly their skill is going to rise.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time, and good luck on Saturday.
All right, thanks for having me.
Hey Ryan, I've got a couple questions for you from some guys. Michigan hockey guy, Mike Caples, is just wondering, what's it like to practice against Jelly every day?
Oh, it's great to have a goalie like Jelly in games and in practice. He's a competitor. He hates getting scored on. I think him and our other 2 goalies create a great atmosphere for us in practice to get better. So, having him in practice in the games gives us a lot of confidence.
What does Coach Osiecki stress the most every day? What do you hear from him all the time?
For myself, it's probably shoot the puck. I'm a playmaker, and he's been stressing all year to shoot the puck because you can't score unless you shoot. But I think for our team, it's just to compete every day, compete in practice and in games because we're a hard-nosed team, and we know our identity, so just bring it every day.
What do you remember about that series against Notre Dame in February? They're a fast, very skilled team, so we just have to stick to our systems and play hard. And I think it was two really tight, close games that we played, so I think it's going to be a great game coming here on Saturday. Yes, for you again, this is kind of a breakout season with 15 goals and 37 points. You moved ahead of Fritzy, and what's been the difference, I guess, your second year, especially the second half?
I think just the year experience has helped me out a lot, just understanding that you can't take days off in this league, and the leadership role that Coach put me in this year, it's really helped my growth, my game, just to, not be down on the little things, just to stay positive and, focus on not just myself but everyone else too.
Well, I appreciate the time, Ryan, and good luck on Saturday.
Hey, no problem. Thanks a lot.